The next one we've got is result of the season. So it's not necessarily in terms of not the best. It's in terms of not entirely the highest result, but a result where we scored loads of goals, but also that it meant quite a lot at the same time. Dan, have you got anything for this, or what would you say was your result of the season?
I have to pick the Liverpool 1-0. I mean, and I looking up earlier today, I jotted down what our starting 11 was on the day. It was Schmeichel, Castagna, Amartey, and Ndidi. Thomas were the back line. Chowdhury, Samari, KDH in midfield, Madison, and then Vardy and Iheanacho starting. And we got a 1-0 out of it. And yeah, the goal you just mentioned with Lookman and KDH linking up down the left-hand side, where he basically outruns Alexander Arnold for 60 yards to get the pass back from KDH. I mean, it was electric stuff. It was my favorite result of the year, probably.
Interesting. Now, again, that's one of them that don't think I've got down to that one. But Alex, have you got any other results or any other ones you can think of?
I've got two. First one, I'm going to bring it back all the way back to, oh my goodness, earlier on in the season, the 16th of October, Leicester City 4, Man United 2. And that was the absolute shenanigans where Vardy scored in the 83rd minute, just after Marcus Rashford scored. And then I just remember it was absolute limbs when that happened. And then Patson Daka scored in the 91st minute, and it was sealed. But I just remember even the commentary team was just like, well, Man United should have won this game, and they lost. And there was like no praise for Leicester City in that sense at all. It was like, well, I can't believe Man United fumbled this one. It's like, no, Leicester City beat you. And I think that was one. But my all-time favorite for this year was Leicester City 4, Spartak Moscow 3, where it was the Patson Daka show, just because it was just absolutely insane. Because I remember listening to that game, and we were down 2-0, just about to head into halftime, and then Daka scored in the 45th, so it was 2-1 going into half, and then I don't know what Rodgers said to him at halftime, but he just erupted, getting a goal in the 48th, the 54th, and then the 78th, and then becoming, I think that was the game that he became the highest scoring Leicester City player in European football action, which is like even more crazy. I think I have to give that game just because of the sheer craziness of it. And that honestly might be like the performance of the season by a player too in Patson Daka.
Yeah, I mean, that one was unbelievable. Now, again, I'll get back to a little bit about that. A couple of things that I've got in terms of that. But Glenn, have you got any other ones, or is there any ones in terms of result of the season that stand out for you?
I had the same as Dan. I had the Leicester Liverpool game at the KP in December. Like Dan said, we had Ndidi and Big Dan as centre backs, Luke and Timmy as full backs. Your hero, Hamza Mascherano, making an appearance there as well. Mo Salah looking for his 150th Liverpool goal, stepping up for the penalty after 15 minutes. Of course, it was then saved by Casper, and then Mo Salah then guided the header onto the crossbar with the goal gaping, which, of course, I was going mental at that, and to be honest, laughing as you do with stuff like that. I remember the crowd with this one actually being really up for it with this game. And so I remember that towards the hour after Lookman then, after just coming on, and Dan sort of mentioned it, started off with the ball around about the halfway line, gives it to Dewsbury Hall, and then Lookman just gave it. And then KDH then went down the left, and Matip stayed back off him. For some reason, he didn't come out where he had Van Dijk behind him. He could have covered, but he stayed off him. So then KDH filled that gap and ran into it. He then played the ball back inside to Lookman, who then managed to cut in front of Matip. And before Van Dijk could get across, he blasted it near post as he was sort of falling down. So with that game as well, we still had 30 minutes left to hold on, which of course we did. And to be where with that result, it wasn't so much for the result on the day, but then fast forward through to the end of the season. If nothing else, that was a screw you to Jota that stopped them from winning the league. Oh. Only because the fact of I couldn't stand the way Jota was after the penalties.
Yes.
So yeah, that was. You could say that we we lost Liverpool the league based on that Lookman goal. So that alone would be.
I want to give it to that just for what Glenn said there.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a hell of one. Again, as you were saying, there's a lot of things I've just realized as well. And after doing some research, I'll just bring it up on screen so I can show you guys as well. I was mentioning two of them, the Man United resort and the Spartak Moscow resort were only a few days apart. They're only 4 days apart as well.
Wow.
So something to think about. Again, I didn't really clock it at the time, but something to just mention. Again, that was just. Again, we couldn't. I don't think we kept a clean sheet the entire October as well, which is not too surprising. But just like
he said, Wolves' first game of the year because we kept a clean sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Luckily,
somehow again, that feels like a long time ago. To be honest, that Wolves result as well. Again, 3 points away from that. Once I've got down again, I've got technically for these results as well. I've got the Moscow one. I've got technically Norwich 3-0, even in terms of result. There's a good goal difference there. Watford 5-1 as well. So, but I think in terms of that, what would you say? I'll give it to the Liverpool 1-0. I think everybody with the home one. So I was kind of piggybacking on that in terms of the match of the season, in terms of what was the best match that we played, in terms of what it meant as well. So in terms of that, we've got again. Alex, is anything else that you want to add? Because I know these two similar. I think we kind of merged these two together. But is there any other matches that you can think of, or any other match that was like, yeah, this is a great match in terms of even just a game of football that was played?
Do you know what? I think the matches that we kind of discussed were kind of the highlight ones for me. You got the Liverpool-Leicester one that was great. You had the Man United-Leicester one, and you had the Spartak Moscow and Leicester one. And those three, when I really think about this season, those three are really, highlighted games for me. Just because they were both fun and stressful and memorable, to say the least.
Interesting. Yep, and I've got them down as well. Glenn, have you got any more in terms of that as well, or any other thoughts?
PSV away for me with that one again. Just the whole occasion. I think like with any game, you build yourself up. There's all that expectation, and we've gone about the fact of it's the hope that kills you and everything. And I built myself up for that game of yes, we can do it, and then just the fact of just seeing the fans as well. I've seen a lot of fan clips from that game from both Leicester and from the PSV fans. And it's amazing. Some of the ones that are taken from the stand, looking up towards the Leicester fans, seeing them go absolutely nuts in that plastic pen that they were in. And oh my God! And I've heard a few people going about how it was like the greatest day out that they've ever had as a Leicester fan and things like that. And definitely, that one of the things I miss the most of being over here in Canada is away days with Leicester City. And that's one that I'm definitely jealous of everybody that was there. That's for sure. So yeah, PSV, the Ricardo winner. All of that stuff, that's the one for me.
Yeah, no, brilliant. No, I definitely agree there. And one of the ones that I missed, which I'm gutted about as well, but it wasn't to be. Again, finances have come first, unfortunately. So, Dan, I know I've kind of threw you in a deep hole, but is there any other matches that you can think of that you can think about?
I honestly just have to agree with Glenn on this one. I mean, winning an away leg in Europe after doing a 0-0 at home, I mean, that's immense, and to have the guts to do it. We had plenty of instances this year where the team have kind of struggled to close out a game. We've lost a couple that we shouldn't have, and it shows a lot of resolve to go away and do that. So that would have to be the match for me.
No, I definitely agree there. And I think one that I've just thought about and just realised as well, in terms of a match, would be 4-2 Watford. In the FA Cup, considering we had 8 fit players in that game, we had a load of under-23 players come through. We had Lookman playing up front on his own. I think Iheanacho, for that one as well. But we had literally, our squad was beyond bare bones. We were recruiting. If you've got fit legs, get on the pitch at this point, because there was literally nobody. We had, again, Hamza Chowdhury, Vestergaard as centre-back duo. We had Mark Albrighton as left-back, which, again, doesn't happen. We had so many players. Lewis Brunt, again, Marcel Madivadua, Will Alves, Lewis Brunt made a performance as well. So in terms of that, I wouldn't have it as my match for season. I just have something that's a runner-up as well. But
was that the same game was that the same match that they contacted Glenn? Because I'm pretty sure they wanted even Glenn to come over to play.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Anybody.
Back.
Yeah, we were pretty slim pickings, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was all over the place. But I think again, just from talking about, well, is there anybody that for that one? We've got PSV away, Moscow. We've got Moscow 3-2. We've got again 4-2. What I'll give a short answer. Dan, what would you think for that? What would your pick be?
I guess my pick would still just be PSV.
Cool. Alex?
I'm going to say PSV.
Glenn?
PSV.
PSV. Awesome. I agree as well. So that's the first one I thought of as well. So match of the season would be PSV away as well for that take us through to semi-final of the Europa Conference League.